Hello everyone, welcome to another Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous video. In today's Camp Cretaceous video, we are going to be going over what the director of Jurassic World, Colin Treverrow, has revealed about his favourite TV series, Camp Cretaceous, and also teases what we can expect to see in Jurassic World Dominion in an interview by comicbook.com. Quickly, before we get into today's video, I did actually post in my previous video about my current analytics for subscribers. Now, in that video, we had 6.9% of you subscribed who are currently watching my content. As you can see on screen now, that has changed to 7%, so everybody who has subscribed, I really do appreciate that. Not only that, but we did actually hit 27,000 subscribers as well, and if you wish to lower that percentage and help me out to get to that 30,000 subscriber mark, do press that red subscribe button as it really would mean a lot. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the video. So comicbook.com did ask, one of the things I really love about season 2 is how it deals with such a dark situation, but the series doesn't lose the sense of wonder and the approach of the story being about the kids. What was it like to find a balance when crafting the story for the season? Then Colin Treverrow replies, it was a bit more challenging in a lot of ways because the situation is so dire. As stakes get high, it's a little bit more difficult to have fun, as I think we're all experiencing right now in our real lives. I honestly think there are a lot of parallels to what we're all experiencing right now in a bunch of kids trapped on the island and trying to figure out how to survive. In all of the darkness, I actually love that the writers were able to always find moments for the kids to not forget why they care so much about dinosaurs in the first place. If one is in danger and they feel like they need to rescue it, they need to know why on a deeper level. Not all of the emotion in our show relies on their relationship with dinosaurs, and it's certainly about their relationships with each other. But part of it is that the dinosaurs are also characters. That's something that's always mattered to me, and I'm sure you could tell by watching the movies too. So, after he said this, you can kind of see how he's trying to tease up how Dominion is going to be, especially after what we saw at Battle at Big Rock, where the characters are starting to learn to live with these dinosaurs, just as the kids are starting to learn to live with the dinosaurs on Isla Nublar. Could he be teasing something to what we can see in Jurassic World Dominion? Trevorrow was also asked, it feels like season 1, the main conflict is really just the events of Jurassic World happening around the characters. In season 2, the show introduces actual villains, Hap, Tiff and Mitch, for the kids to deal with, and heightens how they approach their situations. What was it like to introduce those villains? Trevorrow replied saying, to me, it was a great representation of the values of the show. I think it's been important to me to give kids a chance to see dinosaurs as real animals in our world. And along with that comes certain realities about how animals are treated. In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, animal trafficking is a major plot element. In this series, we have a big game trophy hunters, and that is not fiction. A lot of people heard about the American dentist who shot and killed a lion, and the people having their photos taken with the animals they've killed. I know, it's dark, but yet I still think it's really important for kids to be aware of these things so they can make their own choices about what kind of world they're going to want to live in and when they're in charge someday. The interviewer also asked Colin Treverrow about the standout moment of season 2 when Bumpy and Ben does return, and he said how it was very cool, and then he also asked what was his favourite sequence in season 2, and Colin Treverrow openly said that is definitely the relationship of Ben and Bumpy and how the character arc actually changed for them. But I'm not going to read all of that out because we're here for many things that focus on Jurassic World Dominion and tease up some things. The interviewer then asks, what was it like for you creatively to approach what happens after the events of Jurassic World, especially in the main part of the park? It feels like you got to tell stories that you weren't necessarily expecting to tell when you initially made the movie. Trevorrow replies saying, it was an opportunity for the exact reason you just said. I was able to explore a time that is really compelling at the park that we, in a lot of ways, had to skip over in the movies. We didn't return to Jurassic World until 3 years later when it had completely been overrun and overtaken by animals and returned itself to a somewhat natural state. Whereas in this show, you really get to experience along with these kids what it's like for the dinosaurs to be abandoned on that island. They were in a zoo and they were used to being fed every day. They weren't domesticated, but they weren't wild. And to see the transformation happening for the animals at the same time that's happening for the kids, I think it's the strength of the season for me. I think it's what I love about writing. And as you can see, another somewhat glimpse / tease to what we can expect to see in Jurassic World Dominion if we think of the pattern of what's happening in Battle at Big Rock. The Nasutoceratops just turns up out of nowhere, and the people actually hide away to make sure they don't startle the dinosaur until obviously an Allosaurus comes out of nowhere and tries to kill this baby Nasutoceratops. So it seems like these dinosaurs aren't really domesticated, but at the same time they're not wild. They're in that little grey area, and it's an opportunity for Colin Treverrow to write into the script about the change of dinosaurs. He really loved the look of the change of dinosaurs and the emotion of the dinosaurs, so he could implement something like that in Jurassic World Dominion. Treverrow was also asked, I found it really fascinating that at the end of the season, the kids are still on the island and there's a bigger threat being teased for season 3. What can you tease about that direction if you're able to tell that story? And he replied saying, there is a larger story being told. By the end of season 2, you can see that these kids are uncovering a mystery and a conspiracy that's going to really send them into a much more dangerous world than they ever imagined. But what I love about season 2 is how even at the end, when they have realised that it's possible for other people to get here, it almost makes it that much more painful for them that they're still stranded on the island. What I love about the end is that they take it on themselves. They're not going to wait for anyone to help anymore. It's a bunch of kids who are going to band together, not just to survive, but to proactively find a way to rescue themselves. So I think this sentence right here, where it's about a bigger threat being teased for season 3, they are talking about E750. And not only that, but Treverrow does say there is a larger story being told. The kids are also uncovering a mystery and a conspiracy that's going to really send them into a much more dangerous world than they ever imagined. So that is a tease to what is actually in that container at E750. Obviously, we know it's most likely going to be something that is going to cause havoc and danger. We don't quite know what it is yet, but I'm so glad that Treverrow has confirmed that there will be a more dangerous sequence or feel to season 3. I felt like as the seasons went on from season 1 to season 2 was definitely darker than season 1. And I'm so glad that we have somewhat semi-confirmed information right here that the third season in this franchise is hopefully going to be a little bit more darker. As he does explain, they're going to be put into a much more dangerous world than they ever imagined. So hopefully it means that there is going to be a lot of dangerous sequences and tense moments in season 3. Are there any other Jurassic stories that you'd love to tell in animation? So this question is kind of asking him if there would be more than just 3 seasons of Camp Cretaceous. And he replies back saying, what's exciting is that this show has an opportunity for, I think, more than it may seem at the moment. The work that the writers have done and how we planned out where this can go, by the time we're able to tell the story we want to tell, it really will become a tangent in its own right. These characters will have taken on an adventure that will be so different from anything any of the characters in the films have experienced. I think it will take on great value as it goes along if we're able to keep telling the story. So he's kind of had an idea. There's definitely a concept that he's talking about here, that behind the scenes they want to incorporate more animated series of Camp Cretaceous or even another spin-off series in the Jurassic franchise, which is really, really cool. I'm so glad they are thinking about this. It doesn't have to be animation. It can obviously be live action as well. We'd love a live action series. But the fact that when he says, I think, clearly means that they definitely want to continue these type of stories, telling a backstory to what they actually had to cut out of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom or Jurassic World Dominion, and eventually put them in its own little story archive through Netflix series or TV shows. So that's really cool, teasing the future of animated shows in the Jurassic franchise. Now, in this statement right here, this is a very cool sequence, as again, it kind of confirms our ideas that maybe we are living in a world of dinosaurs now, where we just have to coexist with them. And Colin Treverrow was asked, from a creative standpoint, how has your take on the Jurassic franchise evolved since Jurassic World? Now, obviously, Colin Treverrow does actually talk quite a bit here, so I will link the article down below so you can check out everything he did say. But towards the end, he starts talking about Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and what seems to be a little bit of Jurassic World Dominion. He states, "It's just my own storytelling values when it comes to the franchise. I'm sure someday someone who's a kid now watching these movies will make the awesome people riding dinosaurs with shotgun series. That will be cool and I'll watch it when I'm old too. But this one, I want to keep a little closer to the world we currently know," which means, in my opinion, that they are looking to incorporate dinosaurs like they are cattle. So like a cattle of cows walking down on your local farm, you could instead start to see Nasutoceratops, Triceratops walking down your local farm. So it's something of a little tease here to showcase what's actually going to happen in Jurassic World Dominion. Now the final question, obviously everyone's going to try and get some information about Jurassic World Dominion. He does ask, "I'm sure you can't say too much about Dominion, but I know a lot of fans are very curious about it, especially as production continued to move forward amid the pandemic. What has the process been like of working on the film in the kind of context and having so much time going into it?" And he replies back saying, "It's unlike any experience I've ever had and probably ever will have. I lived with my cast for 4 months while we made this film and we all got to know each other very, very well. We were able to dig into the film and work on each of these characters in a way that I never would have had the opportunity to do so. That kind of constant immersion is not really the way that films are made, where people were all living in their separate places and you see them on set. It's a very emotionally rich and thematically rich movie. It's got a lot on its mind because all of us did. And I think it understands each of these characters better than we ever have because each of these actors has been playing them for so long that they're the ultimate authority on their own character. Much in a way that I did on Safety Not Guaranteed, I really gave all the actors an opportunity to, in a lot of ways, do some writing, to really dig in and find the truth in each of these people, and the product of that is something that I could never have done alone. It's pretty special, and that wraps up the end of their interview. Now, a lot of cool information here, which kind of goes across what we know through another set of interviews that were released recently, that Colin Treverrow actually asked the actors such as Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum for their input in their character arc and what's happening in Jurassic World Dominion, which to me is a really good idea. No one knows these characters better than the actors themselves, and if something just seems out of context, like Sam Neill punching a raptor or something, I'm pretty sure he'll call it up and say, look, this isn't really what Alan Grant would do. He would not fight a raptor, he would run away and sort of watch it like he did in Jurassic Park 3. So it's really cool that they are getting the concept of having the actors talk about the movie themselves. But again, there are so many cool teases to Jurassic World Dominion in this article. If you wish to read the whole article, I will have a link to it down in the comment section down below or the description, so go check it out via that way. But I do think that there's some really cool additions here that Colin Treverrow has spoke about. He spoke about Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous kind of tying in to today's world, and then he also says how Jurassic World Dominion will kind of be like today's world as well, giving some teasers about what we can expect in Jurassic World Dominion. But anyways, that's where I'm going to end off today's video. If you have enjoyed today's video, make sure to smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And if you are new around here, do press that subscribe button, as we're trying to lower the percentage gap of people who aren't subscribed to 90%. We're currently on 93%, so it would help out a lot. But in the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.